Good morning everyone. Today we will be discussing iteration. The word iteration means repetition. In Java, iteration is done using loops. We all know the three types of loops available in Java: the for loop, the while loop and the do while loop. If we know beforehand how many iterations are to be performed, we use the for loop. The for loop is used when the repetitions are known beforehand. Fixed iterations. When the fixed iterations are not known, when there are unfixed iterations, then we use either the while loop or the do while loop. Now, for loop, every loop has a few statements. First is initialization statement. Second is test expression. Third is update expression. Fourth is body of the loop. Every loop has these four paths. In the for loop, the initialization, test and update are written all at one place. Here we write the initialization expression followed by a semicolon, then the test expression followed by a semicolon, and then the update expression, and then here is the body of the loop. In the while loop, initialization is done above the while loop. Along with the while loop, we write the test expression. Then comes the body of the loop. Inside the body of the loop, we give the update expression and the loop closes here. In the do while loop, the initialization is again done above the loop. Then the do statement is followed by a braces. Inside the body of the loop, we give the update statement, and once the body of the loop ends, we give the while and test expression. These are the various, and followed by a semicolon. These are the syntaxes for while and do while loops. Now there are many ways of using the for loop. We can omit expressions also. For example, if I write for semicolon a is less than equal to 10, a plus plus, it is possible. We are omitting the initialization expression. If suppose the initialization expression is done above the for loop, we can omit it here. And here we can print whatever, and then here ends the for loop. This is one way of writing the for loop. Similarly, we can have include more expressions in the for loop also, like this: a equals to 1, x equals to 1, a is less than equal to 10, x plus plus, a plus plus. When there are more than one initialization expression, the test expression is only one, and there are more than one update expressions. In this way also the for loop can be written. Now there can be a null loop also. If I write like this: for a equals to 1, a is less than equal to 10, a plus plus, and followed by a semicolon. There is no body of the loop. Such type of loop is known as a null loop. They can also be an infinite loop. If I write like this: for a equals to 1, a is less than equal to 10, and I omit the update expression, and then I give the body of the loop. So this is an endless loop, also known as an infinite loop. So we can see from here that the for loop can be used in many forms. Now we come to nested loops. A loop inside another loop is known as a nested loop. We can have a nested for loop like this: for I equals to 1, I is less than equal to 5, I plus plus. Here inside this, I am writing j equals to 1, j is less than equal to 10, j plus plus, SOPLN, I into j. This is end of inner for, end of outer for. This is known as a nested for loop. Similarly, we can have a nested while loop and a nested do while loop also. We have used nested for loops while we were making programs of patterns. Let us understand the use of break statement inside a for loop or inside any other loop. Use of break and continue. These are two statements which can be used in one of the loops. If I write for I equal to 0, I is less than 5, I plus plus. Here I am giving if I double equals to 3, break. Else SOPLN I, and outside this I am writing SOPLN I into, here I am writing I plus 1 SOPLN I into 10. What does this mean? This means when I reaches the value 3, we have to break from this loop and print and go to the next statement following it. When I equals to 0, this loop will execute. This will be false, so it will print 1. When I equals to 1, this is false, so again it will print 2. When I equals to 2, this is false, it will print 3. When I equals to 3, this is true. When this statement is true, when this if condition is true, it will come out. So break takes our control to the next statement following the loop. It will come out of the loop as soon as I equals to 3 and it will print 30. So this will be the output of this statement. But here, if I had used continue, if I write here if I double equal to 3, continue instead of this, and else I am making the same program code SOPL, and let us see what will be the output here. I equals to 0 in the beginning. Is it equal to 3? No. So it will print I plus 1. I plus 1 means 1. Then I is incremented, it becomes 1. Is it equal to 3? No. So it will print 2. Then I equals to 2. Is it equal to 3? No. It will print 3. I equals to 3 now. Is it equal to 3? Yes. So continue will take it to the next iteration. It will not print this. Rather, it will take to the next iteration. It will become 4 now. 4. Is it equal to 3? No. So it will print 5. Then it becomes 5. Less than 5, it is false. So it will come out, and 5 into 10 is 50. This will be the output if I change the break statement to continue. So break is doing what? It is taking our control outside the for loop, outside the loop to the next statement following the loop. Whereas continue is taking our control to the next iteration. It is forcing the next iteration to take place. This is the difference between break and continue. Now let us write a program, simple program. Write a program to check whether a number is prime or not. You have to take the number as input. So first of all, what we are going to do, we are going to import java.util.asterisk. Then class, let me take it as prime. Then public static void main string args. Scanner class object. New scanner system.in. Then I have to enter a number. System.out.println SOPLN. I am writing in short. Please write in the full form. Enter a number. We have to check whether it is prime or not. So I will be entering the number as a equals to sc dot next int. Then I will be starting the for loop. We all know that a prime number is that which has only two factors, 1 and itself. So I am starting the I loop with 1 and I am going till the number like this. If A mod I double equals to 0. If number is divisible by I, then C is to be incremented. So this loop will count the number of factors of A. After this I am going to check if C double equals to 2. If the number of factors is 2, then SOPLN A is a prime number. Else SOPLN A is not prime. This is the complete program. This is end of main. This is end of the class. This is the complete program. This is how we make a program using a for loop. I hope you all must have understood this. I will give you a few questions now for practice. Thank you, children.